Welcome back. This is the 9th and final video in our series of cybersecurity program development. All the videos are based on my book, Cybersecurity Program Development for Business, the Essential Planning Guide, published by Wiley. It is available at Amazon and at fine booksellers everywhere. We close by talking not about any specific risk, not about any controls or tech. We close by discussing the most crucial element of your cybersecurity program, the one element that can make it or break it, and the true reason behind your cybersecurity program in the first place. We're talking about people. First, I wanted to remind you that my definition of cybersecurity is this. Cybersecurity is the ongoing application of best practices intended to ensure and preserve confidentiality, integrity, and availability of digital information, as well as the safety of people and environments. Remember also the third triad governing our defense in-depth strategy: people, technology, and operations. And last but not least, what is the most effective cybersecurity control ever? People, people, people. You may say that I revel in stating the obvious, but all the work we've done so far is not about data, assets, or some document that defines a corporation. It's only about people. Our work, your work, in developing a cybersecurity program is people-centric. People, it bears repeating, are the one and biggest asset and greatest potential liability in cybersecurity. In their role as assets, people create value aligned with goals and help protect the values they create. As liabilities, they can just as easily destroy these values through lack of awareness, carelessness, or ill will. Your challenges in creating cybersecurity program are twofold. First, you're creating a program for your people. Second, you must engage the same people to make the program a success. That last one is trickier than it sounds. You need to answer for them the "what's in it for me" question. Up until now, we've been asking the question, how much is it worth it to you? This is the right question to ask of the board of directors, shareholders, etc. in determining risk appetite and the crafting of the right cybersecurity strategy and program. The reason has been that we never want to apply controls that are more expensive than the assets that we protect. But between that floor and the ceiling set by risk appetite, we have a lot of room and a lot of choices. Now we're asking people to engage with us and help us make our cybersecurity program a success. Why should they? Because we ask nicely? Because the company mandates it? Because it's really, really scary of what can happen when the people don't comply? Why? When you're talking to your people about cybersecurity, keep in mind two things. First, remember Professor Howard Leventhal from Rutgers University in his 1970 paper titled Findings and Theory in the Study of Fear and Communications, he made two critical points that are particularly relevant to communicating a cybersecurity awareness message. The first is that increases in fear generally increase persuasion, but there is an obvious conditions where this is not the case. The second one is that when high fear messages fail to persuade, the failure frequently reflects the subject's incapacity to cope with danger. My recommendation is for you to channel the greatest management consultant of all time, Peter Drucker. He said, "It is the recipient who communicates. The so-called communicator, the person who emits the communication, does not communicate. He utters. Unless there is someone who hears, there is no communication. There is only noise." How do you make this happen? How is your message likely to reach the audience? First, it has to be succinct. If your message is more than a few sentences, it's too long. Edit it down to your specific point. 1 point per message, don't ramble. Second, it needs to be specific. The message needs to be as specific as possible, and it should obey the who, will, do, what, by, when principle. Third, it should be meaningful. Why does this message make sense to the recipients? How is it pertinent to their work life? Fourth, it needs to be authoritative. What's the associated authority issuing the message? In other words, why should we listen to you? Finally, it must be doable. At the end of the day, your message must reflect a call to action that can be achieved. It cannot be aspirational or shoot for the stars. It has to be achievable by the message recipient in a reasonable amount of time and through reasonable effort doable. By understanding your audience and understanding both the power and limitations of your message, you can frame your internal communications accordingly. More importantly, you can use this information to tailor your cybersecurity awareness training to the specific strengths, weaknesses, and culture of your company. For any cybersecurity program to succeed, no matter its scope and delivery method, you must secure the vocal participation of your leadership team. They need to advocate for it, they need to participate in it, and they need to evangelize their middle managers on the importance of it. There are several ways you can conduct cybersecurity awareness training. They range from presentations and lunch and learn sessions to group learning and e-learning. Your choice may depend on the size of the organization, the level of existing awareness of the topic, and your risk and threat assessment. And most importantly, it will be determined by your company's culture. This is critical, and never ever underestimate its impact. Culture will trump strategy every single time. Remember that. I'll leave you with a few parting thoughts as you engage in your own cybersecurity journey. Why are we doing all this? Because we're in the people business. Organizations are not animate. They don't feel. They're not alive. Organizations are an it. People are an I. Value is created by and for people. Let's not lose track of what makes the world go round. This is not some idealistic notion. It's the daily reality of value creation. At the end of the day, we're all in this for the service of people. That's what you need to remember to lead and succeed. Like Peter Drucker said, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. You're leading your cybersecurity program development. Do the right things for your people first. The rest will follow. Thank you for watching these videos. I look forward to hearing from you, and I remain always at your service. Thank you.